All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're headed to Italy.
Ooh, Italy.
Yeah, to Tuscany specifically.
Very nice.
We're going to be taking a deep dive into eco-villages.
Okay.
Specifically, a project called Adocentyn, which is nestled in the Italian mountains.
Sounds beautiful already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think like vineyards and permaculture gardens.
Oh, wow.
And a whole community dedicated to sustainable living.
It does seem like there is a kind of growing trend. You know,
Yeah.
people are seeking these alternative lifestyles.
Yeah.
Prioritizing self-sufficiency and getting back in touch with nature.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a modern-day Walden Pond, but with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, hopefully. Gotta have that.
Our main source for this deep dive is a proposal from Adocentyn's founder, Max Fiorini.
Okay.
And he lays out this vision of creating a haven where technology and comfort aren't at odds with respecting the environment.
That's really cool. And it's
Yeah.
interesting. Adocentyn's actually part of a larger network,
Oh.
eco-villages in Italy, called RIVE.
RIVE.
Yes, that's for Rete Italiana Villaggi Ecologici.
Okay.
It's like a support system for these communities, allowing them to share knowledge and resources.
That makes sense. Strength in numbers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's get down to like the nitty-gritty. What's it actually like to live at Adocentyn?
Right.
You know, the proposal paints a pretty idyllic picture,
Mm-hmm.
but, I mean, we all know there's got to be more to it than just
Yeah.
sipping Chianti under the Tuscan sun.
Well, for sure. One thing that really stood out to me was this emphasis on permaculture.
Okay.
And residents actually receive free training in this method of sustainable agriculture.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just about, growing your own food.
Yeah.
It's about creating a whole ecosystem
Right.
that works in harmony with nature.
So, okay, you're learning valuable skills
Yes.
while living in a beautiful location. But
Yeah.
what about the day-to-day?
Right. What's a typical day look like for a resident?
Well, it's definitely not your typical 9 to 5.
Okay.
Residents contribute about 6 hours of work each day to
Oh.
the community.
Okay.
And this could involve anything from tending the gardens to helping out with, get this, their bed and breakfast.
Wait, they have a bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
So they're generating income from tourism as well.
Exactly, yeah.
That's pretty smart.
It's a really good idea. And it's not just about like working the land.
Right.
They're also involved in decision making. So you have a real say in how the eco-village operates.
That sounds like it would require
Yeah.
a certain type of personality, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Not everyone thrives in a communal environment.
No, you're absolutely right.
And especially when decisions are made collectively.
Yeah, and Fiorini's actually pretty specific about the type of people that he's looking for in the proposal.
Okay.
Think 18 to 45 years old.
Oh,
Yeah.
with the driver's license.
Okay.
And this one's interesting. No pets allowed.
No pets.
No pets.
I wonder what the reasoning is behind that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something to do with the self-sufficiency aspect.
It could be.
Or like
Minimizing the ecological footprint.
it might be a consideration for shared living spaces.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So what's in it for the residents?
Right.
Besides the free permaculture training and the satisfaction of building the sustainable community.
Well, I mean, think about it. You're getting shared accommodations in these cozy wooden chalets,
Okay.
surrounded by stunning Tuscan scenery.
Yeah.
And of course, there are the delicious vegetarian meals,
Right.
sourced straight from the gardens.
That does actually sound very appealing.
Yeah.
But is it all just volunteer work?
Right.
Or is there an opportunity to earn an actual income at Adocentyn?
That's where it gets really interesting, I think.
So after an initial 4-month trial period,
Okay.
residents can transition to paid work.
Oh, okay.
So they can actually contribute to the eco-village's income streams,
Okay.
like working in the bed and breakfast,
Right.
selling their produce, or even teaching workshops.
So it's not just about living off the land.
No.
They're creating a model for financial sustainability
Yes.
as well.
Yes.
That's pretty forward thinking.
Yeah. And Farini's projections are quite optimistic.
Okay.
He aims to actually provide a decent income of €2,600 per month by 2029,
Wow.
which really shows, the potential for financial stability
Yeah.
within this model.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, we have to acknowledge,
Yeah.
achieving financial stability for eco-villages
Right.
can be very challenging,
Yeah.
with various factors, influencing their economic success.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
like unpredictable weather patterns,
Exactly.
market fluctuations.
Yeah.
Those can all throw a wrench in the plans.
Absolutely.
So let's move on to another aspect that Fiorini highlights,
Yeah.
which is this unique decision-making process at Adocentyn.
Mm-hmm.
He describes it as like the cyclical framework,
Right.
rooted in permaculture principles.
Yeah.
It's actually quite fascinating.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
So it starts with observation,
Okay.
then analysis, design, implementation,
Mm-hmm.
and finally evaluation.
So it's not just about making a decision and sticking to it
Right.
no matter what.
Yeah.
It's about constantly adapting and refining your approach
Right.
based on real-world feedback,
Mhm.
which seems very practical,
Yeah.
especially in a dynamic environment
Yeah.
like an eco-village.
And it aligns perfectly with that whole permaculture ethos
Yes.
of continuous learning and adapting.
Exactly.
Now, I know not everyone listening can just pack up and move to Tuscany.
For sure.
What about those of us who are intrigued by this idea but can't necessarily make that kind of commitment?
Well, Fiorini actually addresses that in the proposal.
Okay.
He outlines alternative ways to support Adocentyn,
Okay.
even if you can't physically be there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So tell me about these alternative options.
Well, for one, there's the option to donate to the project.
Okay.
But beyond financial contributions,
Right.
Fiorini is open to the idea of reciprocal exchanges,
Okay.
like goods or services.
So even if you're not a resident,
Yeah.
you can still play a role in supporting this eco-village.
Exactly. It recognizes that there are, different levels of engagement with sustainable living.
Right.
And it's about, finding what works best
Yeah.
for each individual.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's not an all or nothing proposition.
Exactly, yeah.
So after hearing all of this,
Mm-hmm.
what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah.
Do you think this kind of communal living
Mm-hmm.
is a viable alternative to our current way of life? Or is it just like a romanticized ideal
Yeah.
that's difficult to sustain in the long run?
Well, it's definitely a thought-provoking model.
Yeah.
And it raises some important questions
Yeah.
about how we can create more sustainable
Mm.
and fulfilling communities.
We'll delve deeper into those questions in just a bit.
Awesome. I'm excited.
But first, I think we have to take a quick break.
All right. Sounds good.
We'll be right back with more from our deep dive into Adocentyn.
Okay.
All right.
One thing that I thought was really cool about Adocentyn
Yeah.
was how much emphasis they put on personal growth
Right.
alongside ecological sustainability.
Mhm.
They have this 3-year training program,
Right.
and it covers permaculture and alternative energy, but also personal development.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and it seems like Fiorini recognizes that building a thriving community isn't just about the practical skills.
Right.
It's about cultivating that individual well-being and a sense of shared purpose.
Absolutely. I think that holistic approach
Yeah.
is something that we see in a lot of these successful eco-villas,
Yeah.
where they addressed like the social and emotional
Right.
and even spiritual needs
Yeah.
of their members.
It's like it takes a village.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
But in this case, the village is actively working to create a better world.
Yeah, it's not just about escaping from society.
Right.
It's about like creating this new model
Yeah.
for how we can live together
Mm-hmm.
in a more sustainable and harmonious way.
Okay, so someone's listening to this right now, and they're thinking, okay, I'm sold. I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
Well, Fiorini actually encourages anyone who is interested
Okay.
to reach out to him directly.
Okay.
And his email is actually included in the proposal.
Okay.
It's max.fiorini@virgilio.et.
So he's really open to connecting with potential residents,
Yes. And he specifically asks people to share their experiences.
skills, and aspirations.
Right.
Like what they can bring to the table.
I appreciate that transparency.
Yeah.
It really reinforces that idea
Yeah.
that building this community is a two-way street.
For sure.
It's not just about
Yeah.
what Adocentyn can offer you,
Mm-hmm.
but what you can contribute to Adocentyn.
Yeah. It's a partnership, a collaborative effort.
Right.
You know?
So we've talked about the vision,
Yeah.
the practicalities
Uh-huh.
and challenges of
Yeah.
Adocentyn.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what resonates most with you.
Mm.
Is it the allure of a simpler life in harmony with nature?
Mm-hmm.
The appeal of communal living and decision making?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's that potential to be a part of something that's
Yeah.
actively trying to make a positive impact on the world.
It's hard to choose just one.
Sure.
I think what's most compelling for me
Mm-hmm.
is that sense of purpose that Adocentyn offers. You
Yeah.
know, it's not just about living a sustainable life.
Right. It's about being a part of a community that's actively working to create a better future for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. There's a real sense of hope and possibility embedded in this project.
Absolutely.
And even if someone's not ready to pack their bags and move to Tuscany,
Yeah.
I still think there are valuable lessons we can take away from Adocentyn's model.
For sure.
Okay.
I mean, maybe it inspires someone to start a community garden in their neighborhood.
Right.
Or explore renewable energy options for their home.
Yeah.
Or even just, engage in more conscious consumer choices.
Yeah.
Remember, every small step towards a more sustainable future makes a difference.
Reading through this proposal, I couldn't help but think of that famous Michael Jordan quote.
Oh, yeah.
There are people who want it to happen, some wish it would happen, and others make it happen.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that Max Fiorini definitely falls into that last category.
He's a doer.
He's not just dreaming of a better world.
Yeah.
He's actively building it.
I love that comparison.
Yeah.
And that proactive spirit is essential for anyone who is seeking to create meaningful change.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just talk about sustainability.
Right.
It's about taking action, experimenting, and learning from that process.
Speaking of action, I think we're going to shift gears a bit and explore some alternative models for sustainable living that might be a little closer to home for our listeners.
Okay, yeah.
But first, we're going to hear a word from our sponsors.
All right.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before we went to the sponsors, we were talking about Adocentyn. It really does exemplify this growing movement towards sustainable living.
It is really fascinating to see how they've integrated so many different aspects of sustainability into this model, from their permaculture gardens and renewable energy systems to their unique decision-making framework and their focus on personal development.
Right, and it's not just theory. They're actually putting these ideas into practice and showing that it's possible to create a thriving community that prioritizes both ecological and human well-being.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm curious though. What happens if things don't go according to plan? I mean, living in a community with shared resources and collective decision making has to come with its own set of challenges.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I really appreciate about Fiorini's proposal is that he's very transparent about the potential difficulties. Yeah. He doesn't sugarcoat the hard work and the sacrifices involved in building a self-sufficient community.
Yeah, and he actually provides this really interesting breakdown of the three main areas where residents contribute their time and skills. Okay. So, agriculture and maintenance, communication, and guest and volunteer management.
It's like a mini society, isn't it?
Yeah.
With everyone playing a role to ensure that the community functions smoothly.
For sure. And it's not just about working the land.
Right.
There are roles for people with a variety of skills and interests.
And that diversity is probably key to their success.
I think so, yeah.
It's like a permaculture garden, but for people.
Yeah, I love that.
Different personalities and talents working together to create this resilient and balanced ecosystem.
And speaking of permaculture, let's circle back to that cyclical decision-making framework we talked about earlier.
Right.
The one where they observe, analyze, design, implement, and evaluate.
It seems like that would be so essential for navigating the complexities of communal living.
For sure.
I mean, you can't just bulldoze your way through disagreements or challenges.
No, not at all. It's about having a system in place that allows for open communication, thoughtful consideration of different perspectives, and the flexibility to adapt and change course when needed.
Which, when you think about it, are valuable skills for any community, not just eco-villages.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Maybe that's one of the key takeaways from Adocentyn.
Yeah.
That by embracing these principles of sustainability and collaboration, we can create more resilient and harmonious communities, regardless of our location or lifestyle.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Adocentyn's story is like a powerful reminder that we actually have the power to create the kind of world that we want to live in.
Well said. And with that inspiring thought, we come to the end of our deep dive into the world of Adocentyn.
It's been great.
We explored their vision, we delved into their practical approaches, and we even grappled with the potential challenges of their model.
But ultimately...
But I think what really shines through is that sense of hope, a belief that a better future is possible.
Absolutely.
If we're willing to work together to create it.
It was inspiring.
Yeah.
For sure.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe Adocentyn's story will spark a fire in some of our listeners and lead them to explore their own paths towards sustainable living.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And be sure to tune in next time for another deep dive.
I will see you then.
All right.